welcome back for another week with us. I'm Lina.
And I'm Anna, and we're missing Liam today. He's really sad that he's not here, guys.
But he's doing exams. He's almost done his year at GCBI.
Yep.
So I know he's super excited and sad to be done school at the same time.
Yeah, so guys, if you think about it, pray for Liam. I know he's a little stressed with all the extra studying he has to do to finish up the school year. And that's hard. School's hard, right?
School is hard. Yeah, especially it's even more harder during the times of COVID, right?
Yeah.
It's a new kind of way of doing school, and that's okay. We got to learn, right?
Yeah.
But if you guys think about it, you can pray for peace for Liam while he's studying and writing his exams and finishing up.
Yep.
Because we have been talking about peace. Yeah.
Speaking of peace, I think it's time to sing our worship song, right?
Yes.
I really have been enjoying it this month about learning about God's peace and how much we can praise Him for that and thank Him for that. So guys, at home, sing with us.
You're my courage, I don't have to be afraid. You're my fortress, no matter what comes my way. You're my treasure forever, yes, we'll be together always. Even when the days get harder, I know you'll rescue me. Even when the sky is darker, I know you'll bring me peace. You are my strength, you are my savior. Oh. Even when the road gets longer, I know you'll be with me. Even when the waves crash harder, your face is all I see. You are my strength, you are my savior. Oh. You are with me every single day. Through the darkness, oh, you lead the way. You're my treasure forever, yes, we'll be together always. Even when the days get harder, I know you'll rescue me. Even when the sky is darker, I know you'll bring me peace. You are my strength, you are my savior. Oh. Even when the road gets longer, I know you'll be with me. Even when the waves crash harder, your face is all I see. You are my strength, you are my savior. Oh.
Every time I fall, you pick me up. You fight for me, you overcome. You bring me peace, you give me love. For you I sing, to you I run. I praise your name for all you've done. You are my strength, you are my savior.
Ooh. Even when the days get harder, I know you'll rescue me. Even when the sky is darker, I know you'll bring me peace. You are my strength, you are my savior. Oh. Even when the road gets longer, I know you'll be with me. Even when the waves crash harder, your face is all I see. You are my strength, you are my savior.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you had a fun time singing our worship song together.
Yeah.
I know we did. And like we said earlier, this month we've been talking about peace. And peace is sometimes defined as putting the other person first and not always having to win the argument.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but Lina got in a fight with her sister Selena
Last week,
and she
yeah.
found out that, it wasn't always about her being right.
No.
And sometimes you have to compromise.
And guess what? When we did compromise, we had so much fun.
Right.
And it was a lot better because we weren't fighting and we both put each other first. And above all, we put our dad first.
Yeah.
That was the most
That's
important.
what matters, right? You had a great time celebrating your dad.
Yeah.
But also, peace can look different sometimes, right? Sometimes we don't have peace kind of inside of our hearts, right?
Right. And a lot of things can cause us to not have peace when we look at them, right?
Yeah. So me and Lina are kind of going to do a challenge.
Okay.
Today and this morning, and you guys can even try at home too. But the challenge is, how long can we hold a glass that is full of water?
Okay.
For?
That seems pretty
so,
easy.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be, I think we're going to be able to
I think we'll be fine.
do it for quite a while, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But we're going to fill it up. And as we fill it up, these things represent kind of like things that cause us stress. So the opposite of peace, right?
Right.
Say you're really worried about a school test, right?
Ooh. Yeah.
Or like it can be conflict too. Like you got in a really big fight with your brother or sister and you don't know how to solve it.
Yeah.
And you can't sleep because you're
Right.
worried and you're upset. Like that's not peace. Can you think of any?
Yeah. I mean, well, sometimes if we think that we have a lot to do, like a lot to do on our to-do list or a lot of schoolwork, that can be kind of stressful and cause us to not have peace about it because we feel like we have a lot to do. What else?
I can think of like when you're scared or fearful of something, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's maybe starting over at a new school or just doing something new can bring
a lot of stress.
Right? A lot of stress and even the feelings of fear, which is the opposite of peace, right?
Yeah.
I know for me, I'm a big time worrier, right? So I can worry over things that I can't even control.
Right.
Right? And that brings me not peace, and I worry and fret.
Right. Yeah. I sometimes worry about, okay, what's next, right? Like I don't know what God has planned for me, and that causes me to worry a lot and think about like, I know I'm here, but God, what's next
and
for
waiting,
me?
Right? I know a couple months ago we talked about that patience, right?
Yeah. And sometimes having patience for me doesn't cause me peace. It causes me
the
distress.
unknown, right?
Yeah. If you guys can think of anything else at home, you guys could try this out
challenge.
with us too.
Yeah, see how, okay, so the challenge is we're going to see how long Lina and I can kind of hold this glass straight like this, okay? So so far I'm fine.
Yeah,
This is
me
fine.
too. Yeah.
And we're going to watch our Bible lesson, which is another lesson about peace. And how David in the Bible actually used peace in a situation, but also there was a peacemaker in the story he used. So guys, watch the Bible lesson with us, and we'll see you after the lesson and see if we're still holding actually it's kind of hurting, our glass waters.
Yeah, we'll see you then.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story, inspired by the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 25.
God had promised David would be king, but for now, King Saul ruled Israel. David lived his life on the run, followed by a group of misfits who had become friends and servants. One day, they arrived in the desert of Paran, near the land of a wealthy man named Nabal, who owned 3,000 sheep.
We'll set up camp here, man.
At first, Nabal's servants didn't know what to think.
Too many strangers around these parts. We've had food and sheep go missing.
But David's men were honorable. They didn't try to steal from the shepherds. In fact, David protected Nabal's shepherds from any harm.
Stay as long as you like, my friend.
About time for sheep shearing, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Nabal will hold a grand feast when it's all over. Your men have helped us, so they should share in the celebration.
David called for 10 of his men and gave them a message to send to Nabal.
On it.
David's messengers hurried up the mountain to Nabal's estate and were brought to stand before him.
Well, what do you want?
Nabal sneered down at the men while he continued to chew on a fine leg of mutton.
David says, may you live long, may things go well with you.
Continue.
He says, I hear that you are clipping the wool off your sheep. When your shepherds were with us, we treated them well and protected them. Now please be kind to my men. Please give us any food you can find for us.
Nabal leapt from his seat and hurled the mutton bone across the room.
Who is this David? Probably a runaway servant. Why should I give bread and meat to a nobody and his men who come from who knows where?
David's men returned to camp and delivered the news.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Oh, yes, he did.
Men, put on your swords. We'll make Nabal wish he hadn't.
At no time at all, David and 400 of his men were marching up the mountain to confront Nabal. It seemed there was no stopping a battle. But Nabal's wife, Abigail, was far wiser than her husband. A servant told her what he had done.
David sent messengers asking for food, but Nabal shouted and was rude to them.
Go on.
The whole time we were near them, David's men were good to us. They were like a wall, keeping us safe. You've got to do something now, or terrible trouble will come.
There's no time to waste.
Abigail quickly directed her servants to gather supplies and put them on donkeys.
200 loaves of bread,
Check.
5 sheep,
Check.
1 bushel of cooked grain,
Check.
100 cakes of raisins, and 200 cakes of figs.
Check. And check.
Well, you go on ahead. I'll follow.
The donkeys, loaded with good food, started down the mountain. Abigail got on her donkey and followed. From the valley, David and his men were approaching.
Everything we've done has been worthless. I watched over this fellow's property, but he's paid me back evil for good. We'll wipe him out.
As David's anger grew, though, he spotted something along the path. A pack of donkeys.
What's this?
Well, it looks like they're carrying something. Food for a feast, I'd say.
Behind the pack of donkeys, Abigail prepared for what lay ahead.
I must stop this.
The moment Abigail saw David, she slid off her donkey and fell face down on the ground before his feet.
Please, let me speak. Let me take the blame for Nabal's actions.
Abigail raised her eyes just enough to notice David's surprised face. He nodded.
Don't pay attention to Nabal. He's always doing foolish things. I'm sorry I didn't get to see your messengers, but I've brought a gift for you. Right now, the Lord has kept you from killing Nabal and his men. Let the Lord deal with your enemies.
Abigail rose to her feet. David and his men listened, surprised by the strength of her message.
You fight the Lord's battles, so he will give your family line a kingdom that will last. He'll make you ruler of Israel. And when he does, you won't have a heavy load on your mind about killing people with no reason. The Lord will give you success. When that happens, please remember me.
Abigail took a deep breath and waited. David smiled.
Give praise to the Lord. He sent you to find me. May he bless you for this. You have kept me from using my own hands to get even.
David's men unloaded the food that Abigail had brought.
Go home in peace. I'll do what you have asked.
Abigail made her way back up the hillside to her home. She had chosen to humble herself and do the hard yet creative work of making peace. In the end, Nabal paid the high price for his foolish anger, but God blessed Abigail.
Welcome back, guys. We're still holding the cups, and it's hard.
Yeah, my hand is kind of shaking and hurting. It's heavy.
It is heavy.
It's really hard to hold this straight. Like my elbows hurting, my shoulders hurting.
I feel like my glass is like going lower and lower.
Yeah.
Because I really want to put it down.
Yeah. Well, let's try to, just keep on going and talk about the Bible lesson.
Okay. Well, that was a really good lesson. Yeah.
Yep. I don't think I can hold mine for much longer. I have to let it. I'm putting mine down.
Okay.
It hurts.
Okay. I'm still trying.
Okay, I'll try to talk through. Okay. The Bible lesson. Okay, so the Bible lesson was a great example of how to be a peacemaker. Lina, just let it go.
Oh my God.
Just let it go, right?
Oh, my arm.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. That was hard. You never.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever had to hold a cup like that.
In that position. Well, it was supposed to teach us that, peace, stress, anxiety, worry, all these things that conflict, that don't bring peace, bring pain, right?
Right.
And it weighs you down, and that God just wants you to give it to him and trust him, right?
Right.
So that, I thought we could have made it a little longer before I explained what those represented. But that's what it represents, right, guys? So
Yeah. Well, that was a lot of pain to my arm, let me tell you. And if that represented like the pain,
opposite of peace.
yeah, what we have in our life, and it just hurt my arm. I feel like when we're carrying all the pain and the things that we're stressed about, that probably brings a lot of pain to our heart.
Yeah.
And to our minds and our bodies. But there's always a but. We have Jesus, right? He's the ultimate peacemaker.
Yeah.
He comes
And
to
he
bring us
brings
peace.
Yeah, that's what the word says. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know to just talk to him and say,
Right.
God, this is bringing me some stress, and I don't know what to do about it.
And
And
to just let it go. Like, all we had to do was let the cup go, and then my arm's fine. It's not hurting anymore, right?
yeah.
Well, and I think in the Bible story that you guys just watched right now, it was such a great example how God used Abigail as a peacemaker,
Right, yeah.
Because David and Nabal, there wasn't going to be peace. There was
No,
going to be
they were
conflict and,
fighting.
like, a battle that
Yeah.
wouldn't have ended well,
Right.
right? But Abigail brought peace to the situation.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then
ju-
the story turned out really different, right?
Yeah, it was beautiful. And I think just like God brought Abigail, God brings people into our lives, like our parents, our older siblings, friends, to bring peace and people that we can talk to about our stresses and just to bring peace and bring life and just to remind us, right, to turn to God and turn to each other.
Right. And to live at peace with each other and in your life, right?
Yeah.
It's been such a great month to learn about peace.
I know.
But guys, before we go, we want to show you, it's kind of not like a matching game, but kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
Just a fun thing, and hopefully you guys can remember this next time you're in a conflict or you have a situation in your life that's not bringing you peace.
Yep.
But how to be a peacemaker or a peace breaker. So guys, play this game with us.
Hey guys, we're going to be doing our game now that our arms are less sore.
Yes, and remember, this game is about being a peacemaker or a peace
breaker,
right?
Yes.
And as we learned, we definitely want to be peacemakers.
Yes.
And this isn't really, I guess, a game. It's more like a matching.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. So on these pieces of paper, we have some situations or a way that you would react to something happening in your life.
Yep.
And we're going to try to guess, and you guys at home try to guess as well, if that reaction was a peacemaker's reaction or a peace breaker's.
All right, I'll go first.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. Okay. I got fight.
Ooh.
So I definitely think that type of reaction would not be a peacemaker. Because we all know fighting does not bring a lot of peace.
No.
It brings the opposite of peace. So it definitely would go under
Peace breaker.
the peace breaker side, right?
Okay. Yeah, I agree. All right. I'm going to go next, and I have... Okay, I have yell and scream.
That's definitely
Peace breaker,
peace
right?
breaker.
We don't want to yell and scream at anyone
No.
because that doesn't get us anywhere.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. Yeah, so
Yeah.
definitely peace breaker still. Okay.
I've definitely yelled at my younger sister.
We all
before.
have.
Yeah.
And then you have to say you're sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, we all do this. We do all of these, right?
Yes.
But we've learned that they don't bring anything good out of them, right? Hurt
Nope.
feelings.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get in trouble for those things, right? And then we have to ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
From God and from others. So,
Right.
And it doesn't solve the situation,
It
right?
does not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one. We can finally put one on
Okay.
the peacemaker side. Okay, so this one is pray,
Okay.
which is so important to do in our lives. Praying is a way that we talk to God, right? It's an open communication with God our Father, and He wants us to pray and talk to Him about everything, the good, the
Absolutely.
bad.
Yeah.
When we're feeling sad or scared or
Yeah.
worried,
Mhm.
He wants us to go to Him and pray for Him and pray and ask God to help us through those situations.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes when I'm having a stressful time or someone says something that hurts my feelings, I take a minute and I pray and I give those hurt feelings and that anger sometimes to God
Yeah.
before I go and like talk to that person or something,
Yeah.
right? Because my initial reaction may not be very nice.
Right.
But when I process it and I pray and ask God for the right words and
Right.
like just pray about it, I feel more peaceful, and then I can talk to that person
Right.
and not be so angry.
Yeah. So definitely pray is definitely a way to be a peacemaker.
This one's a good one, guys. It's apologize.
Yeah.
So I think that one's a
Yeah,
peacemaker.
peacemaker,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes when you do the peace breaking, which we all do, sometimes we have to be the peacemaker and say, oh, man, I'm really sorry for what I did or what I said.
Yeah.
And own up to those actions. And then peace can be restored, right? So even when we break peace, which happens sometimes, kind of happens a lot of times, we can, apologize and ask for forgiveness, and then peace is restored, right?
That kind of happened with us one time. Remember, we got into a fight.
Yep.
Because the Buccaneers were gonna win. And
That's
we
right.
Got into a fight,
Yeah.
and we had to say sorry
Yeah,
to each other.
for sure.
And we're still
Yeah,
friends.
see, so that peace can be resolved, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a good one. And I think if we did this more, a lot of times there wouldn't be situations or conflict. Ask for help.
Ooh, yeah. Peacemaker for sure. Yeah.
Sometimes you just can't do it on your own when you're in a situation.
Yeah.
And you need to ask others for help, right? We're not supposed to do life by ourselves.
Right, yeah.
We need each other. I know our Bible verse talks about building up one another.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Sometimes the situation becomes less stressful
Yeah.
when we ask someone for help.
For sure. Yeah.
All right. My next one is taking turns.
Yep. What
kinda
do
like
you
what
guys
we're
think
doing.
at home that would be? Definitely peacemaker. Yes, for sure. I know in my house, we've all been spending a lot of time at home with our siblings. If you have siblings at home, and they can get under your skin, right? Like,
For sure. Yeah.
they can drive you a little crazy, and a lot of times you don't want to take turns with them when
Right.
it's game time or anything, just
Right.
on Nintendo Switch or whatever you're doing at
Yeah.
home, right? But usually when you don't take turns, you usually end up fighting, yelling, screaming,
Yeah.
and then things get taken away from you, right?
Right. You can even take turns doing chores, right?
Yeah.
One person can feed the dog one day, and then the other person gets some water, and then
Yeah.
you take turns so that you're not always
Yeah,
doing the same
and then
thing.
you're just bringing peace to your
Yes.
house, right? To your
Yeah.
household, yeah. My turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, okay. So this one is ignore.
Ooh.
And what do you guys think this one would go under?
I think
Peacebreaker.
yeah, I think so too. I know it definitely hurts my feelings if someone ignores
Yeah.
me. And so I don't want to ignore
Or
someone
even trying to
else.
ignore a situation, because that
Right.
doesn't make the situation
Go away.
Go away, right? I'm not going to worry about this, but you still do.
Yes,
So you
yeah.
kind of have to deal with those situations. You can't just
Mhm.
ignore them, right? Problems don't just go away.
They don't solve themselves.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
definitely that would go under a peacebreaker.
This one got a little stuck. Okay. I have problem solve.
We kind of just talked about that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Definitely peacemaker, right? When we take the time to solve the problem, whether in a group, with your siblings, at school, in your own life, that's going to bring peace to the situation.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes you can see how to fix a problem or how to help it, and someone else hasn't.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can even help that one.
Yeah.
So many people have helped me solve problems at
Me
work
too.
or with schoolwork.
Yeah.
Or really with a lot of things, right? A lot of people have helped. Okay, so this one's interrupt.
I think peace breaker.
I do too. Yeah. And And I know sometimes I interrupt without even thinking, right?
Yeah,
And
me too.
I'm like, oh, I got to let my 2 cents in first, or I think my way's better.
Yeah.
But that's the opposite of bringing sometimes peace to a situation.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Oh, you got 2.
I do. I can share the last one with you. So my last one says, use kind words. So I think that would be under peacemaker.
Yes, for sure.
So we definitely want to use kind words with everyone that we meet, right? Not just our family and friends. Use kind words with everyone. Yeah.
And we talked about that a couple months ago in Renew Kids. Remember our month on kindness and how just kindness can turn a situation around, and it can bring so much people joy.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? When you just show an act of kindness.
Yeah.
So definitely that's peacemaker.
And I think that there's always a kind way to respond to someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we need to choose to be kind.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, this one's definitely a peace breaker. Tell lies.
Ooh, yeah, that is definitely a peace breaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lying never solves a problem.
No.
And guess what? The truth always comes out.
It does. And sometimes if you tell one lie, you have to tell another one to hide that lie. And then you have to tell another one. And then it's just like a whole mess. Yeah.
And it doesn't bring peace. It brings conflict.
Yeah.
And the truth always finds its right. I always tell my kids, like, we'll always find out what the truth is. So there's no point of lying.
No.
Because the truth will find its way, right?
Yep, absolutely. And sometimes, even if you tell the truth and you know that you might get in some trouble, it's always better to be truthful about a situation
than to try to hide it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, I hope you had fun, and I hope that you guys have learned how to be peacemakers, right?
Yes.
God really wants us to live at peace with others, with our friends and family and people that we come in contact. And most of all, God wants to give you peace in your life over situations that are going on.
Yeah, and if you don't have peace about something, we should just pray. Ask God, ask your parents.
Yeah, ask for help.
Yeah.
Don't try to figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But we also have our Bible verse. Yep. And so I think we should relook at that. So let us do all we can to live in peace, and let us work hard to build up one another. Romans 14:19.
All right, guys, it was another great week to spend our Sunday with you guys. We hope you guys have a great coming week this week.
It's the last week of April.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Next week's going to be May.
That's crazy.
I know. Another month gone.
I'm ready for warmer weather.
Me
right?
too. This
so we
week
can spend more time outside.
Yeah.
And enjoy that. So, guys, have a great week. We'll see you next Sunday.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
And Liam will be here next week, hopefully.
Yeah.
Pray for him. Bye.
Bye. Peace.
See ya.
Is that good?
That's a wrap.
Later, nerds!